Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon, demonstrating how to set up, play and review Athanasia. This is by Immortality Games and this has come from the States. This is a preview copy. These are prototype pieces and I don't know of course how these exact pieces all look. I know it's coming to Kickstarter, but I can say that these little tiles are really nice. They're kind of like, they're not neoprene, they're soft and they're cardboardy, but there's a lovely kind of textile, nice dexterity to them, which I really hope is kept in the final production. So we're going to move the board off the side here. So this is a 2 to 7 player game, which you can play as a 2. The box does take 3. It's now available as a 2-player game, and the rules have changed slightly. I'm going for a newer set of rules. As I say, it does say 3 to 7 here. It is 20 minutes per player, and it is ages 14 plus. Brandon Fitzpatrick is the designer from Immortality Games, and here's the rule set. So in this game, it's a bit like Andor, Legends of Andor meets something like Mage Knight, amongst other games. It's tactical, it's skirmishy, but unlike games like Tainted Grail and games such as maybe Descent or Imperial Assault, whereby sometimes there's quite a few movement actions to do, like in Scythe, when you want to move through portals, as you'll see in a moment, it was actually very straightforward. You don't have to pay any costs. That's been a nice upkeep phase. So what do you want to do? Well, we are different characters representing different races that ultimately are going to battle and be either the last person surviving or the first person to get out. How do you need to get out? Well, you need to get the immortality key, which is going to get drawn from the bag at some point in the game, so you don't exactly know when you're going to be switching, and you can be various different characters. I happened to play against the humans last time I played, and there are various other characters you can be playing. Like I said, I haven't played the humans, so I might grab them out, but I think I'll stick to playing as the dragons, the draconians, as you can see here. And when you flip it over, you can see it's quite fiery. So obviously these boards, again, prototype form, but that's pretty much how they look. I have added extra baggies just to kind of set this up differently, so I'll show you how that works. You also need to take out various character cards, various item cards, and such like. So this one's baggied up already for Draconians. There are 7 different characters you can play as. You're going to play as 6 of them, returning 1 to the box which you don't want to play. You have healers, you have warriors, you have various characters that can do various things. As you can see here, the Disabler, the Healer, the Destroyer, the Defender, the Deflector, the Controller. So you're going to chuck one of them back in the bag, the one that you don't fancy being. They can tell you pretty much who they do and what they do differently. But for now, let's just chuck one back in the bag. Chuck out that D20. There's a little bit of luck in the game, but it's more about modifiers with that die, and it's also to decide who starts. So you're going to roll the die, whoever has the highest value, go first. If not, of course, roll again. Various different health points are going to come out, and you're going to place your various different characters around your board here. And this is going to be your portal that you're going to be leaving to head out and ultimately come onto this terrain and grab various items that will improve your abilities, maybe improve your defense, improve your range of attack, range of movement, amongst other things. So as you can see, this particular character, pardon that, we are going to chuck this over here. Of course, if you are liking this, please like it. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please share. Of course, any other comments, you can let me know in BGG, but I highly recommend you do it in YouTube, as always, because therefore, or in this instance as well, the designer is going to know stuff as well. Now, all the characters in every single race, they all have the same stats initially. So they have 6 health, they have 10 defense, they have 2 attack, and they have 9 movement. So hopefully that's fairly clear. And funnily enough, when you do come out of your portals, I do know when we go to a certain place where all these items spawn, these spawn points, it takes exactly 10 movement points. So no one can actually land directly on these items straight away. But as I said, you can get modifiers, which I'll talk to you about. Those include things such as obelisks. So everything's gone back in that bag. The extra character's gone away. And then what you're going to be doing is just setting up the remaining bits. Just whilst I'm doing this, if you again have any other questions, you can also check out the descriptions for any updates I may well have about this game. And also you might want to check out any other updates, such as, I don't know, the Kickstarter link, stuff like that. And right, so you can take your characters, doesn't really matter where you stick them, but I recommend you do something like this. And what's quite interesting in the rulebook, I haven't seen a rulebook like it which does it, it actually tells you how much space you need to play the game. So in this case, you see in Imperial, it's about 37 inches across, so about 90 centimeters across if you happen to play at a larger player count. This is an 80 centimeter across table, and we're both able to get our stuff in. So there we go. Again, I did mention I played as a 2 last. When I play as a 2, you play as 2 different characters and you alternate who's moving which. As I said, the aim of the game is either to be the last person standing or trying and getting out and get the immortality key. So what you're going to be doing on your first turn is you are just going to decide, well, who is going first, and then you're going to trigger your abilities. So you're going to trigger 3 of your characters to move, and this is where you might want to familiarize yourself with your characters. In this case, when you're attacking, for example, roll a d20. If the roll is basically 15 or higher, incapacitate an adjacent rival for 1 round, so they're not able to do something if they're like that. Roll a d20 if they're basically next to each other, they all gain 4 health. What is linked is when they're all next to each other, as you might imagine. Over here we have Valak Soros. When adjacently attacked, roll a d20 and deal damage. So just because of some light shining on it, I'm just going to move these out of the way slightly. Okay, so right now, let's just take that first turn. So we're going to talk about movement. So right now, you're going to take your character, and like I said, for now, I'm just going to leave it covering the board slightly. I'm going to take this character and move 3 of them up to 9 spaces. So 1 pops out where they are, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this instance, we are going to stay there. So I'm going to do 8 over here. Let's do other ones. 1, 2, and they can bounce over across here for nothing. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I mentioned about the fact it costs 10 is you probably want to go to an obelisk. So we're just going to grab this guy and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As you can see, it's too far away, even over in here. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As I said, you'll never get to where an obelisk is initially. Why are obelisks important? They'll improve various stats for you. They'll improve your health by 1. They'll improve your defense by 1, and then improve your movement by 1. Sorry, all of that is correct apart from your health. So you're able to increase your stats, better for attacking, better for destroying your opponents, and we'll come on to that. By the way, if your opponent or if you get destroyed, you just take a card, turn it upside down, take a character, and just chuck it out of play. So you can see that how many characters they've got left, how many people you're still trying to work through. I'll talk to you a little bit how the game flow goes, but if you happen to now reach where an obelisk is, you have up to 3 action points. So one of these 3 action points can be is bringing out an obelisk. In this instance, you're bringing out your regular colour for whatever it might be. In this case, an obelisk. So now we have out this shining beacon which powers up your guys and a bit stronger. So now you can go other places. We also here have a stronghold. If you want to get over to this location, what this represents is you're able to do more damage. Normally, all your damage has to be adjacent. So whoever you're attacking against, like I said, I've baggied up the aliens over here, then they are going to be able to be attacked further away. Why do you want to do this? Well, imagine someone else has had their turn and now it's your turn again. The first thing you do is you roll a die. You roll a 15. It's basically a spawn point. So over here, it's basically determining a random location where something new is coming out. It's in the bag, I'm going to draw something. In this instance, we draw this item, and it's going to go there. If you can't place something on that item, then ultimately you're going to move on to the next one. So 15 and 16 is taken, you're going to play 17, 18. If that's taken, you're going to move somewhere else. Let's leave that in shot, that looks pretty nice. Okay, and also, in case I hadn't talked about it already, I love the box art. So there we go, Athanasia, and leave that in shot there, looks pretty nice. Okay, so next up is the opponent's turn, and let's say it's our turn next. Well, firstly, we need to talk about what various item cards have spawned. So here are the various ones. You have a passive item, 1 damage from rival attacks, so the Black Cat, an ICBM, choose any tile, all characters in a 3-tile radius lose 3 health, remove this item from the game. We have increased your maximum attack range by 4 tiles, etc. We've got the banana, all these things you can look through. In this instance, we've got this one, the Dark Magnet. Choose any 2 items currently in play. Those items are transferred to you. Remove this card from the game. So this is a card you probably want to hold on to until you need it. Now, if you want to get it, of course, now it's a race. Everyone's going to bolt over to this location. So imagine it's my turn. I've got these guys out over here. Well, either I can bring more people out, obviously, from my portal. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In this case, I can grab it. Now, currently, this person is allowing me to do this ability. As you can see, it's a one-time effect. Other cards are a bit different. They can do 1+ attack. So this character, which we can talk about, is called Ralik Blindwing, cool name. In this instance, you can do 1+ attack damage with that card. What you might want to do is slot it under that card to show you. However, if you can bring this item all the way back to your home base, okay, which means coming back up here, moving all the way up here, it's now fully powered. Now this guy, of course, is out of action for quite a while, but everybody now benefits. All of your characters benefit from this character card. So that is what I tended to do in my last game. You know, I had about 3 of my guys out of action. They weren't collecting more items, but they were bringing them back, allowing everyone else to benefit. Whilst, to be honest, a few of my characters were being killed off. And there are some quite fun characters in here too, whereby when you basically attack someone, you also blow up your character as well. So in this instance, yeah, you have to be aware of that. So in this instance, we have Kovacs and Megamos. So roll a d20. If the roll is 14 plus, kill up to 2 adjacent rivals as well as this character. So how does attacking work? Well, let's just zoom in on that character down there for a second. This isn't filmed in 4K, by the way. So if you want to check and zoom in, 4K is the way to go. So keep a look through that. You are going to attack. So do I do a good enough attack? I have attack of 10. Is that enough? Well, again, if I happen to have some better cards, so we talked about having +1 attack, that's 11. Your opponents always have a defense of 10. In this instance, you're doing some damage. You just have to have enough, just have to beat them. Again, this will be an extra one as well with the obelisk. You're doing 12. In this instance, you're able to do attack of 2. So they're going to move down by 2. There are some cards which can increase your stuff, in which case, if you need to go to a 9, you're going to flip this over, 8 and 9. So that can flip across as well. Now, there are some extra cards which are going to be appearing, or tokens in that bag. You're going to have the antimatter token. As you can see, it says one of 2 components, also the Philosopher's Stone. When those 2 items appear, that is going to be starting towards probably triggering the end of the game, because if those items are now triggered, then the Immortality key can be activated. When the Immortality key activated, as you can see, I leave it in a separate baggie because you will not be actually having it in a draw pile, because once those guys are activated, your next job is to get all the way over here. Now this board is normally orientated 90 degrees. I just wanted to show you about, obviously, just where I was up to. So in this instance, you now want to grab that Immortality key and craft it and move it all the way to here to win the game. Now you can, as an opponent, block that space. And if you're powered up, of course, try and defend against it. There are some passive actions you can do. So if you happen to have, let's say you're here and you've got another character that you control over there, and we happen to have another thing, let's just see what this one randomly is going to be. That banana we talked about, excellent. So in this case, as a passive action, you can just bolt it across, jump it across like that. So you have 3 actions on your turn. Those 3 actions can be attack, they can do various different things. Coming back to here again, you can have a bit more of an attack value as well from strongholds, which are quite fun to do as well. So you have 3 things to focus on. You might want to focus on getting some obelisks to power yourself up early, try and get some items to power yourself up, or maybe just hang around and try and see if you can get the respective items, that Philosopher's Stone and again that antimatter, to enable yourself to get a swifter victory. So it's a bit of a push your luck to try and manage that. I do recommend it. I believe probably, yeah, that 2-player game is fine, but it's a lot more fun with more players, a bit more carnage, and I think there's a lot more to discuss. I've played through various characters. I like the Siliconians as well. Might be able to just bring up one of their containers as well. Here are the Siliconians. So pretty cool looking boards. And again, I had talked about these hexes with the designer. Maybe they could be a bit fainter. I think white was a discussion as well. I quite like it like this, but I think I don't know, maybe a bit more faded. Keen to know your thoughts on that too. So in terms of those actions, again, you're going to have 3 actions. 3 different characters can do an action each, or 1 person can do 3, so 3 different activation points. Talking about attacking rivals, you can steal an item. That's going to cost you an action point. You have to be next to them, of course. Activating an obelisk, I talked about that. That's going to cost you a point as well. Also, you can perform a character ability, so you can do stuff relevant if it's on the card as well. And you can use your active items, so some of these cards are going to cost an action point. So you have 3 things. There are more than 3 things you can do. Again, those passive actions, you can pick up, place, and drop items. As soon as you land on it, you're triggering the potential ability. You can transfer items, as I mentioned, and basically performing a character ability is if the active item is not present as well. So lots of different things you can do. There are other things as well. There's team battles and other bits and bobs. So hopefully you found this of interest. This has been Athanasia. As you can see, fairly small box. It's not a large size box whatsoever. And again, you've got various things. You don't have to fight. You can just try and, go on a bit of a quest and get certain items, discover various items in that deck. Maybe you can talk about, we'll take out some items, but there is a space for, lots of different items to come out. I have seen every space get filled, in which case you're not drawing a new thing if that occurs. Again, you can do linkage, which is rather cool, which I mentioned about earlier. So you can choose to do a link attack to maybe keep you guys together. The downside with that, of course, is you can't then reach across. So current ratings around an 8, 8.10, or 8 out of 10. And look forward to you obviously discovering this. Again, any other questions, please let me know. And like I said, there's various different layouts to it. I like playing different characters. Yes, there's currently similarity between all of them, but I think that keeps that balance going on. Of course, there is 1 extra character which you're not playing with each game, so it is something to be aware of. There is an FAQ to go through any other questions, which only had to be looked at once. And the new rulebook looks really good, because each, for example, movement time is referred to as, it's in yellow. So for example, it does match up very nice. So that's quite a nice easy to read rulebook, which I hope to actually have it placed on there too. I did mention about how to win. Another way, of course, is the immortality key, getting these items. So if you do have these 2 items, that's the one you'll be doing on that crafting table. However, if you don't have them, go for the win by fighting. Well, that's all for now. Back to the table.